Hello everyone, and today we're going to talk about Circle, Two Worlds Connected. I'm a huge lover of sci-fi, fantasy, anything romance, well, everything romance, and this show had no romance in it, and I loved it. The plot is about two brothers who find an alien when they're like 10 years old. Um, there's so much mystery around the alien that in the end, that's all. Is to say they find an alien and jump 10 years later, and so much stuff has happened. The alien has disappeared. The father has disappeared, and next thing you know, these boys have a pretty hard life. The main thing is that it's a mystery and it's sci-fi, so if you're into those two things, then this show is everything for you. So the two brothers, Kim Woo-jin and Kim Bong-gyeon, Gyeon, are twins, and somewhere down the line, the older twin, who's like a minute older, Bum-gun, gets put in jail for trying to find the alien that he thinks abducted their father. Um, Woojin is now doing science and technology, and all of a sudden, all these people in his school are committing suicide, so they say. And he thinks it's just people's hard comings in life, and they decide to go out the easier way. And so he's kind of seen as a emotionalist person, while Bum-gun just got out of jail and is bent on knowing that this alien is the one causing all of the suicides. Like I said, or so they say. And he's been searching and searching and searching for years, and finally he's trying to tell Woojin everything, and Woojin doesn't want to believe him. So, starting from there, Woojin is slowly coming to realize that this stuff is true, and he has to come to the conclusion that he can't just make bad memories disappear. One fundamental thing is that the show is split in half. It's part one, which is beta project, and part two, which is brand new world. And part one has the twins and their own problems as they try to find out what's going on and why people are dying. And part two is completely after that, and everybody's trying to understand why this new organization called Human Bee is able to wipe people's memories. There's literally two stories in one, but in the end they link back together because they're still about the twins. Uh, Part two is it's hard to say anything without spoiling part one. So yeah, this show needs to be watched fully and as a marathon. Like, I had to sit here for 3 days and try to figure out what the hell was going on. So between these two stories, the part one is like, since this beta project is like, what does the future hold with this technology that they found because of this alien? Um, she's so mysterious, but she honestly doesn't even remember anything. So they're hell bent on trying to find out who she is, but also trying to understand where this technology is coming from. So with that, you jump to the future where the technology already exists, and you get this huge clump of plot that you slowly have to unravel. So in part two, the main question is, what is the secret to this brave new world? What is the secret to Smart Earth, which is what they call the part of, I want to say, South Korea that has this smart technology that they're able to implant as a chip into behind people's, more like on their neck, yeah, on their neck, to control their emotions and their memories. If you get too angry, if you get over emotional, the chip calms you down, lowers your heart rate. Just kind of scary, honestly. If I'm scared, I want to know I'm scared. um, and the part you have to find out are the memories. Like, who is taking people's memories? It's these billionaires who wants to research, get this technology, and now they're greedy. And That's all the future, the part two is about. It's how these organizations became so huge to be able to control the population and take over the government. So let's talk about the characters, which once again is my favorite part because the show and its plot in like I molded all of these characters together so well. I'm not gonna name everybody because there's a lot of people in the show and I don't know half of their names. So this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna talk about the twins for right now. And the twins, Woo Jin and Bum Gyun, are so conflicted. They don't know if they want to live normally and just forget about it or just accept the fact that there are aliens and understand where this technology is coming from. And in the end, they choose option two. They try to understand where all this is coming from to save each other. And it's just a show about two brothers who absolutely love each other but have no way of connecting with each other at the same time. And that was the most heartbreaking feeling in this whole show. All they wanted to do was be normal and live their lives together, but they couldn't even do that. And every time they almost had that chance, it gets taken away from them. And it was so hard. And they're just literally living contrast of each other. But when they realize they can finally meet halfway, they don't even get the chance to do it. Woo Jin feels as though his brother is stuck in the past. But since we only get a feel of Woo Jin from part one beta project, which is the past in the present 2017, um, you don't really get a feel of Woo Jin later on, so you have to completely base him off of his present self. And he's a very evidence type of person. If you're trying to tell him anything, he needs to know that there's evidence to it. And the more we go through the story, he feels so bad that just because his brother didn't have any evidence, he didn't believe him. And the more he finds out, the more he realizes if he only believed Bumgyun, a lot of things could have turned out completely different. And seeing that him wrench and feel so guilt ridden for not being able to help his brother in more ways than he could have is the main driving mechanism for Woo Jin to me. Bumgyun is the most cutest older brother, in my opinion. He obviously really loves Woo Jin, but obviously can't put aside his obligation to try wanting to find his father and find the alien who did all this stuff to their lives. No matter how much he loves Woo Jin, he's willing to risk it all to get the truth. And that's also a pretty heroic side to him as well. Like I said, they're two sides of the same coin. They're trying to kind of after the same mission, but it just takes them different paths to get to that realization in their own lives. And by the time he's finding out the truth, he doesn't even get a chance to tell Woo Jin and ends up getting hurt. And the majority of the rest of the show is him slowly losing himself. And Woo Jin sees that it's really hard for him. In part one, Woo Jin is trying his hardest to fight for Bumgyun. And in part two, the cop is trying his hardest to find Woo Jin. And it's so hard. It's like even after 20 years, they're still trying to find each other. And it's so sad. It's so sad. It's really, really, really sad. So let's talk about Jung Young for a second. She was good. Her actress was really well. She worked really well. She was a really good actress. The character, she could be lackluster at times. She was a huge part of the show, obviously. But I mean, there were moments where I didn't really care. I just wanted to find out about Bumgyeon and Woojin, and then there were times where it was like, oh, everything has to do with her, so we have to focus on her. But she was just a very intricate part of the story. I don't really have much to say about her. So she's mostly there as obviously she started most of this. She started the whole story, and then she's kind of just there, like for the ride to find out about herself and all the other stuff that's happening. And while Woojin is finding out information and finding out about her too, she's just there for the ride to me. But she's a very important part of the show. So most people will know if you've already watched it or if you just seen the casting. Iki Kwan from Highlight, no longer Beast, Highlight, it was in this show, and he was part of the Brand New World part, the future part of the show, and he was pretty much a product of the organization. The chip, the memory loss, everything. He was literally just a product of what happened in the future society. He was there to show everybody what has been happening and what can happen if somebody regained their memories. And he grew along the way because, I mean, he didn't know this was going on with him. And when he did find out, he thought having his memories suppressed was a better thing, was good. He didn't want to remember all the horrible things that's happened to him. But as soon as he found more out about his memories, how more of his memories emerged, he realized memories make a person. Memories make you. And if the bad guys have their memories suppressed, they can't feel guilty or feel any regret towards the crimes they committed. And as far as his story, he really wanted everybody to understand that if you do something bad, you should live with that for the rest of your life. And he feels like our society shouldn't be this way. These bad guys been pissing me off, and there's too many of them. There are too many bad guys. One minute you think he's the bad guy, the next minute you think he's the bad guy, and next thing the bad guy's all the way over there. So I don't got time to be talking about all the bad guys. So I'm just gonna wrap the bad guys up into one lump sum and saying they're all assholes. That's it. They all have their own agendas to doing what they wanted to do, and y'all are all buttholes. Okay? So once again, I really didn't pay attention to the soundtrack. Mostly, this whole show didn't really have a type of soundtrack. There was that one theme they played at the very end all the time called Alive. I wasn't in this show for the music. The story is what sold me. The characters are what sold me. The music I didn't pay any attention to. So if you like the ending song, it's called Alive. That's all I can say. So yeah, in conclusion, Circle, Two Worlds Connected is a really good science fiction show that depicts a society where is it okay to lose your memories to create a better society, and how this technology could affect everyone around you. And these two brothers who are out to find the truth before humanity gets into the hands of greedy individuals. The story, I will give it a 10 out of 10. When you think you're about to figure something out, plot twist. And that's all the show does for its 12 episodes. Plot twist, plot twist, and plot twist. So it just blew my mind how intricate this show was with its characters, its plot, its development, its background, and simply just its storytelling. It was so mesmerizing. This show was crazy, crazy epic, and I really hope there's a season 2. Last episode kind of get made a guess for a season 2, and I hope people check it out. So I hope you like this kind of sporadic review, but my mindset is always sporadic. Yeah. So Circle, Two Worlds Connected. It's on Drama Fever and other places that people might go to. So Go watch it. And thank you for watching.